So I am thinking as I go about men and women, why they're different, how they're different. And what I'm thinking on at the moment is why it is that men seem to achieve much more than women in life. They're thinking of great inventors and scientists and whatever. People who think a lot, maybe writers as well, but I know there's some female writers, but I believe men are more prolific than women. So I think there are more male authors than female. It'd be interesting to look into that. But I'm thinking about why it is the case that most scientists are men. What is the thing that makes men more inclined to be scientists and engineers, whatever, and builders and developers and whatever? It would seem that men are more inclined to do stuff to make things happen than women. Women have had some success in sciences and whatever. I think Marie Curie comes to mind. But there seem to be many more men who have achieved in science and philosophy and writing, maybe. So I'm wondering why this is the case. And one thing that comes to mind, which may have no validity, but it's what I'm thinking at the moment, is that women bear children. Women manufacture human beings in their bellies, which is beyond amazing that women have the ability to do this. So I'm thinking that in a sense, women have achieved in life simply by being a fertile female. That they are useful and in the world and have achieved something because they can bear children. And of course, many women do bear children. I don't know the percentages and how many women produce children, but I'm guessing it's a very high percentage of women become mothers. So I'm wondering if this ability that women have means that there's less pressure on women, less inclination within women to achieve in other areas of life. So because women can bear children, that is a fantastic ability in itself. And so they've already achieved in a sense. Men are in a different position in that men enable procreation to take place, but they don't do the business of manufacturing a human being. So men are under different pressure in life to achieve and perform in the world. And so I'm thinking that men are more inclined to achieve and do stuff in the world, more inclined than women, because men don't make babies. They enable the making of babies, but they don't do the business of manufacturing babies, manufacturing human beings. So I'm thinking maybe that this means men are more inclined and are under more pressure to do something useful in the world, to try and compete with women, to try and raise their status to be level with women. So men, it would seem, need to do more in the world to prove their worth, to try and match with women and the importance of women. So men need to make themselves more important by doing more in the world to basically justify their existence, to show how they're worthwhile. It's just what I'm thinking at the moment, that maybe men achieve more in the world in science, philosophy, writing, engineering, all kinds of fields. men tend to do more. I haven't looked in any details or whatever, but I'm guessing that most authors are male, most scientists are male, most engineers are male, most builders, most scientists of any description are probably male. I think men are more driven to achieve in the world because I think, to put it simply, men have an innate understanding that they're not women. So men know that they're not able to manufacture human beings in their bellies. And so they need to justify their existence in different ways. And so they're more productive than women because they're more inclined to be, because they don't do anything else that's useful. Women are incredibly important automatically because they're women, because they can bear children. Men, on the other hand, need to prove their worth and demonstrate how they're worthwhile. And maybe this is why men achieve more in the world than women. When I'm thinking of scientists or whatever, men come to mind much more than women. I think Marie Curie comes to mind for some reason. But the number of men and the range of men is much greater than women. So men do seem to do more, achieve more in the world, more productive than women. We have the world that we live in. Aeroplanes fly because of the work of men. The elevator takes you to the top of a building because of the work of men. The lights come on because of men. Cars drive on the road because of men. You have the road itself because of men. There is so much in the world that is dependent on the work of men exclusively. So women, of course, enable this to happen by bearing children. And much of the work that happens is there to support women so that they can produce children, whatever. Much of what we do in the world is dependent on creating a safe environment for women so that women can bear children productively and safely. It does seem that much of the world is about creating an environment for women to bear children safely. It does seem as if much of the world is about making things comfortable and productive for women. It is interesting to see things this way, that much of how we operate in the world is about creating a safe, productive environment for women. So as this thought has just kind of occurred to me. I suppose it raises the question of, is it the case that women are more important than men fundamentally? There is that expression, for example, women and children to the lifeboats first. So it does seem as if we have an attitude, an inclination to keep women safe rather than men. It's as if women do matter more than men in our minds. I think that this is not correct fundamentally, but at the same time, it is a natural inclination within men and women, I suppose, to regard women as being more important than men, and their safety is more of an issue. Men do seem to be second class as regards safety and well-being. I think that when I come across that expression, women and children to the lifeboats first, it was a kind of automatic thing in my mind. I didn't react to it. I mean, if we had an expression that said white people to the lifeboats first, then we'd see automatically that that was evil and hateful and wrong. But when we say women to the lifeboats first, we don't see it in the same way. We don't regard it as being hateful towards men. We see it as being positive towards the welfare of women, and so it's a good thing. We don't see any negative side to that at all. But as I say, if we were to say white people to the lifeboats first, then we see automatically and instantly that that is evil and hateful and unjustified. But when we say women to the lifeboats first, women and children, we think that that is appropriate. I think it's interesting that we see things this way. And I'm wondering if it does come down to the fact that women bear children. And so is it a fundamental truth? Is it a fact that women are more important than men because they can produce children? My initial thought is I don't agree with that. But I am wondering if I'm wrong, and I will think about it. So yeah, it's something to think about, and I will get on with that.